Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. This is a pair of gathered pants. This is just something I made just very casual to kind of lounge around in. There's no pockets on these pants. I wanted something really simple, and if you're a beginner, it's really easy for you to get through your basic pants steps in sewing. Also, I will not be demonstrating how to do the pockets. So if your pants pattern has pockets and you don't want to put them in, you can just skip that step. If you want to put pockets in your pants, I do have a separate tutorial on how to put them in. You scroll down to the description section, click on the word more, and then you will see a variety of links appearing, and there will be that link down there about how to put pockets into pants. If you've never read a pants pattern before and you're not familiar with the terminology, I have a separate tutorial in which we'll go through all of that for you. We'll explain everything about information on the pattern envelope, how much fabric you need, and what all of the symbols mean on your pattern. When you are reading pattern instructions, it will refer to the fabric as right side, wrong side. Sometimes I say other words in there to describe the same thing. So when I say right side, and if I accidentally say front or pretty side, it's the same thing. And if it's for the wrong side, sometimes I say backside or not so pretty side. It all means the same thing. Most clothing patterns call for a 5/8 inch wide seam. So this is how I recommend you do your seams. So from the raw edge, go in 5/8 of an inch, and there's markings on your sewing machine for that. Do a straight line of stitching. I also recommend, if your fabric unravels easily, that you do an overcast stitch on the raw edges together. Now here are samples of overcast stitches that you may or may not have on your sewing machine. Always refer to your user's manual to see which of those are overcast stitches. If all you have is a zigzag stitch, then by all means use the zigzag stitch. I would widen the stitch and shorten the length so that it covers those raw edges. I am using a serger on my pants. It's a different type of sewing machine than a standard machine, so you can also use your serger. So do either one, either the one on your sewing machine or serger. Make sure you refer to your pattern instruction sheet on how to cut the fabric out. These are the recommended layouts depending on the width of your fabric. This is how to lay it out for 44 to 45 inches, and this is how to lay it out for 50 to 60 inches. Make sure you transfer the markings that are on your pattern, for instance, these little notches, onto your fabric. Use either chalk. I like using Taylor's chalk because you can just brush it away. Or you could use a fabric marker. When I have a straight line, that's just my personal symbol for these little triangular shaped notches. Now, these two pieces right here on the top are the sections for the front of the pants, and then the other two pieces are the sections for the back of the pants. So you're going to take one front and one back and bring right sides together. Remember, pretty side. And then this is your side seam. And you're going to stitch from the waistline all the way down to the bottom of the pants. Then go over with your other two pieces and do the same thing. Stitch the side seam. Now open both of your sections up like this. And now bring both sections right sides together, pretty sides together. This edge here is your center seam. So this is the next section to stitch together. So go ahead and pin your two crotch areas together and then stitch them. Now take a hold of your side seams on both the front and back underside here and pull them apart so that you can now see two legs. Go ahead and match your edges together and place pins all the way around here. At your crotch area, if you've done your overcast stitches, you need to make sure that you push one seam going one way, and my top one is going towards my left, and the bottom one is going towards my right. This way you don't have a big lump in the center. And then go ahead and stitch your seam. At this point, this is what your pants should look like. I now recommend that you try them on to make sure that they're fitting well through your hip area. This is my fabric for the casing. There are two pieces. You bring right sides together, the pretty sides. And then at each end are your side seams. So you'll stitch one side seam completely closed. Then at the other side seam, you're going to leave an opening that's about 1/4 of an inch wider than your elastic. This is so that the elastic will be easy to insert in. Then press both side seams open. Now take your casing and you're going to bring wrong sides of the fabric together and pin it all the way around. Here's the raw edges of the casing. Here is the top of the pants. You're going to slip the casing over and matching the raw edges together. After you have it pinned, then stitch a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. Make sure when you are pinning your casing on that your hole for the elastic will be facing on the inside of the pants. And this is what it should look like at this point. Then take that casing and pull it out like this, all the way around. Refer to your pattern back of envelope for the size of the elastic that your pants require. You want to measure your waist and follow whatever instructions it says in your pattern for getting the length of it. I usually will wrap it around my waist and cut it about 1 inch shorter because I don't want it too tight. Now take a safety pin and put it at one end. Now take your elastic with the pin on it and begin inserting it into the casing. And you want to push against that pin, gathering up the casing area and then pulling the elastic through. And continue doing that until you're all the way around. As you're inserting the elastic into the casing, make sure as you get close to the end of the elastic that just take a straight pin and secure it down because you don't want this to wind up in there and then you've got to start all over again. Now take the two ends and overlap them a little bit. And then you're going to stitch the two ends together and just stitch kind of a little rectangle shape. Go down, across a little bit, back up, across, and go around several times. To close this opening, get needle and thread and put a knot at the end of your thread. And then we're going to just do a little whip stitch. If you know how to do a ladder stitch, you can do that. But because no one's going to see this, a little whip stitch will be fine. So I'm just going to go underneath the edge of the opening and pull the needle through and hide that knot under there. Then I'm going to go across to the other edge right here and push it through, I'm one-handed. My right hand doesn't work, so bear with me while I show you how to do this. And then you're just going to go back across to the other side, underneath again, and then go back to the other side, and you're just going to keep going back and forth until you're done. And then right now, this is how your pants should look. One thing I want to remind you of, whenever you feel like things may not fit right, always try your pants on. It's really important. So never worry about trying them on, making sure everything's going along okay. All right, last step is to hem your pants. Before you hem your pants, make sure you try them on and fold the edges under and make sure everything looks even. Stand real straight in front of a mirror and make sure. If you don't have a mirror to stand in front of, have a friend come over and mark your hem for you. For the pants, because I'm using the serger, this is what my raw edge looks like down here. It's very clean. So for me, I only need to fold mine under about a 1/2 inch, about like that, and press it. So you want to press your hem and then stitch it down. I'll show you what the stitching looks like in a moment. If you have a raw edge here, you didn't do any kind of overcast stitch or serger on it, you should probably fold it twice. So fold it once 1/4 inch and then fold it again 1/4 inch. And then you would stitch right along this edge right here. This is what mine looks like. Remember, I have the serged edge, so it does look very, very clean. Now, I'm using thread that does not match, so make sure that you use matching thread throughout, unless you don't mind a different color being on it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something new. If you're interested in other clothing projects, I will have a playlist down below where you can look at some of the others. I have tutorials on ponchos, as you see behind me, also blouses, gathered skirts, other simple little projects for those of you who are beginner sewers. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.